Welcome, and thanks for joining me for part 2 of this program on abortion pill reversal. During our last episode, we learned about an exciting new protocol pioneered by Dr. Delgado of San Diego, California, to reverse the effects of RU46. We heard how he and Nurse Debbie Bradel are helping women reverse their chemical abortions through abortionpillreversal.com and a 24-hour hotline. We also met Cynthia Galvin, one of Dr. Delgado's first successful abortion pill reversal patients, who's living a happy life with her husband and 4-year-old son. Today, you'll hear from an amazing mother of 2 who changed her mind and chose to reverse her abortion. Stay with us. Becky Buell is 21 years old and a junior at William Jessup University near Sacramento, California. She became unexpectedly pregnant with her son the summer before her senior year of high school. The news was shocking, but her parents and boyfriend were supportive, and she never contemplated abortion. With the support of her family, she graduated high school early, delivered her son Elias, married his father, and started college. But within that first year, her marriage was failing, and she filed for divorce. In the midst of all this, Becky discovered she was again pregnant. Fearing she'd lose the support of her parents, Becky went to Planned Parenthood.
I knew my mom was going to take it better than my dad. But my dad had said, if you get pregnant again, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to leave. We've just done so much for you, and for you to do that again is not acceptable. I really honestly thought that we were gonna have nowhere to go. I was looking at my future, and I had an 11-month-old son at the time, and I thought about him losing his home and me having to drop out of school, and that was the last hope I had for the 2 of us having a future.
What was the process like at Planned Parenthood when you went for the abortion?
They don't tell you much information. So they describe chemical abortions as convenient, something that you can hide. You can do it in the comfort of your own home. Taking that pill at that time, knowing what it would do to your baby, was really a defining moment for you, wasn't it? The love I had had for my first child just kind of hit me because I knew that I loved this child the same. I just was torn. But knowing that I had just taken his life, I thought that I had just taken his life, really stirred something in me. I felt panic. I felt literally instant regret. I was distraught and really looking for any type of solution to try to fix what I had just intended to do. So I was sitting outside of the Planned Parenthood clinic in Sacramento. I literally just walked out the door, and I had sat in my car, and I was just crying, and I was praying, and I was so lost. And I pulled out my phone, and I decided that I was going to search online for some type of abortion pill reversal. One website did come up, and it was abortionpillreversal.com, and they had a hotline number on the website and said, if you're contemplating having an abortion, or if you've already taken the abortion pill and you want to reverse it, please call the hotline. And so I did, right there outside of the clinic.
Becky called the 24-hour hotline and spoke with nurse manager Debbie Bradel. She calmed Becky down and told her there was hope for her unborn child if she wanted to try to reverse the abortion. Debbie described the reversal process of using progesterone injections to reverse the effects of the abortion pill. Debbie began looking for a doctor near Becky who was willing to administer the injections. After searching for 24 hours, Debbie finally found a doctor 2 hours away from Becky's location. Becky was anxious to proceed with the reversal and worried about her baby's survival.
I was very scared that it wouldn't work, or even if it did work, that my child would be deformed for life. I had started this reversal process and never returned to Planned Parenthood, and they had called. I finally called them back and explained to them, I'm trying to reverse this. I changed my mind. They had said on the phone, what you're doing probably won't work. You realize that your child could likely be deformed from this.
Why do you think they told you all those things?
I don't think that they are as pro-choice as they claim to be. I think they're more pro-abortion. I think they definitely wanted me to finish what I had started in their clinic so that they can kind of wipe their hands of me and be done with the situation.
So when you went to the doctor's office, they did an ultrasound.
Yeah.
What was it like when you heard your baby's heartbeat?
It was a sigh of relief because I had known that if the abortion pill hadn't already terminated the baby, there was still hope, and hearing that heartbeat, it was really just a happy, encouraging moment.
In a moment, we'll hear how Becky's parents reacted to her attempted abortion. Tom and Jan Buell had been married 22 years. When Becky was pregnant with her first son, they were shocked, but offered support and a place to live so Becky could continue to pursue her education. While they were supportive of Becky, Tom didn't think a second pregnancy would be a good idea. So when Tom heard a voicemail from Becky's doctor about her second pregnancy, he was shocked. And when Becky told her parents about her attempted abortion, they felt sorrow and regret.
I was very sympathetic from the beginning, and the baby was my big concern. I was so worried about the baby from the beginning.
At first I was angry because I didn't understand the whole situation of what had occurred with the RU-486 and the possible ramifications. And I mean, when I was fully brought up to speed, I mean, there was no more anger. It was just, I was scared to death.
I couldn't believe that she wouldn't come to me and tell me that. And I guess thinking back on it, she was just so stressed out, maybe so worried that she would upset her dad. I think she just panicked.
School, marriage falling apart, gonna let dad down, might get thrown out of the house. You know, as a father, you have to kind of scare your kids a little bit to say, hey, if you do this again, then there'll be no second chances. Of course, there's always second chances with your children. I'm sure that did at that moment. Before she took that pill, I'm sure all those things ran through her mind.
He was just shocked, and he was quiet and definitely sad and scared for the baby, and he was a lot more understanding than I expected him to be. One of the conversations he had said, why would you do that? Why would you be so ignorant to have an abortion? And I said, well, I feared that I would be kicked out of the house. That's what you always told me. And so when he heard that, that hurt him. And to think that his words had pushed me to having an abortion,
Did he express to you his sorrow about that?
He did. I think it's still something he thinks about. He's just learned a lot, not something he still feels guilty about.
With the support of her parents, Becky continued receiving the progesterone injections throughout the duration of her pregnancy. And on October 20, 2013, Becky gave birth to a beautiful baby boy named Zachariah.
I saw him, and he was perfect, and he was completely normal. And I held him, and it was just relief. And I was so thankful for Debbie and for Colf's and to God for that divine intervention.
Do you have any regrets?
No. The fact that I'm able to positively affect other women, and that some light is being shown on Planned Parenthood and the lies that they're telling. I think a lot of good has come from this experience.
Debbie Bradel and Dr. Delgado have built a network of physicians they can call when a young woman reaches out seeking an abortion pill reversal. In Becky's case, it took Debbie 24 hours to find a doctor to perform the reversal. They plan to continue growing the registry so no girl has to wait or drive more than 2 hours.
Early on, I realized that we needed to have a network in place so that we knew a doctor, a go-to doctor in that area. We could call that doctor and get things going more quickly to expedite the process. And so from then on, we started recruiting doctors to join us, and we have now over 270 doctors in our network. We've been reaching out to women all over the country, and indeed we've had phone calls from women from 45 different states and 13 foreign countries.
What do you do if you don't have a physician in the area where the girl lives?
That is the hardest challenge. I go to the Heartbeat and the CareNet websites, and I find the closest pregnancy medical clinic If they state that they do ultrasounds, then I know they have to have a medical director. Oftentimes they will say yes. I call churches and see if they know, if the pastor knows if they have a pro-life physician in their vicinity. I think I've probably only not been able to find a doctor in a handful of cases.
Is it difficult to find doctors who are willing to be part of the network?
It's not so difficult when you approach pro-life doctors, but when you have doctors who are not pro-life, what they see is potential liability, potential problems with stepping outside of the lines, because the mainline OBGYN organizations like ACOG, American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, they're criticizing us and they're not supporting us at all. And so the typical run-of-the-mill OBGYN or family physician sees that, sees what these organizations are saying, and so they're not going to want to join us at this point. What we're hoping, though, is that with time, with more experience, that this will become the standard of care and that every doctor will want to offer this just as another patient option so that patients do have choice.
Coming up, hear how Dr. Delgado is responding to criticism from pro-abortion activists. For the past several years, Dr. Delgado has been performing abortion pill reversals and helping women across the globe through abortionpillreversal.com and its 24-hour hotline. As they continue to spread the word about this new protocol, they've seen their success rate grow and are sparing more babies and families from the anguish of abortion. But with success comes pushback from medical peers and pro-abortion activists. How many women and babies have you helped so far?
I've had 297 actually get the progesterone out of about 850 calls. Not everybody decides to take it. And we have 90 perfectly healthy births and 75 women are pregnant.
Our success rate has been around 60% most of the time. The range has been from 55 to 60%, depending on when we've taken a snapshot look at the data. I didn't really get any pushback until this started being publicized in the general media over the last couple of months. The so-called abortion experts, what they're saying is that this is junk science. And I tell them, well, it's not junk science. Everything we've done has been very methodical and done very, very well scientifically. It's just new science. The other thing I point out is that there is a lot of science underlying this. Lots of science with rat studies. A rat study out of Japan where they gave mifepristone RU46 to one group of rats. Another group of rats got mifepristone RU46 plus progesterone, and they saw that all the effects of the mifepristone RU46 were negated in the rats who got the progesterone at the same time. So that to me is good scientific evidence that it does work at blocking the effects of the RU46. Then they say that, well, the early studies with mifepristone RU46 only, the incomplete abortion rate was anywhere from 20 to 40%. Again, the incomplete abortion rate does not imply that the embryo is still alive. The incomplete abortion just means that the contents of the uterus have not been emptied. And so they're saying, well, if up to 40% of the time there's an incomplete abortion, if you don't do anything, it's going to be just as good. So just tell the woman not to do anything if they change their mind. But even if we assume that 40% of the time the baby is still alive, which I don't think it is, because like I said, incomplete abortion does not imply that. If you increase the chance of survival from 40% to 60%, that's still a great increase. It's actually a 50% relative increase in the chance of survival.
Just in that vein, there was an abortionist in Kansas who said that there's a 50% fail rate with mifepristone by itself, and that you could give a woman a large dose of purple Skittles and get the same result.
Yeah. And so that 50%, a lot of them have been quoting that, but that's an exaggeration of the data. They're using that as a talking point, and obviously he's read what other people have said, and so it's being propagated. So I think we're able to counter that pretty well.
Cynthia Galvin and Becky Buell don't hesitate to share their stories with young women who are facing the same situation they were in. Becky has shared her testimony at Pregnancy Resource Center events and this past January at the Walk for Life West Coast. Neither Cynthia or Becky could imagine their lives without their boys. Did it cross your mind then or later that your experience was paving the way for other women?
I kind of thought I was the only one that wanted to change my mind at that point, and I didn't realize, I guess, how many people, you know, really want to change their mind and are really looking for somebody out there. And I just really feel so blessed to have been able to have that opportunity. And, you know, I feel like maybe if this would have happened a year before, there wouldn't have been anybody to help me. So everything kind of just fell into place.
Becky, why do you want women to hear your story?
I just want them to know that there's hope for them, that even though they're young, that they're a single mom, that everything seems so negative in their lives, and that, like, the world is against them and like they can't do it. Like, you can do it. I've been blessed with a really amazing family and support system, but I know that other women haven't had that. So the women I encounter, I want to be that for them too. Someone to talk to, someone for them to look up to. 2 years ago, I was so broken and contemplating abortion, you know, myself, and here I am, you know, kind of mentoring these girls. And so I just feel really blessed to be in the place that I am and to be a positive influence for them.
Are you proud of Becky?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Very proud of her.
Absolutely. For her to so quickly change her mind, I mean, between minutes of taking the pill and then going to the parking lot and changing her mind, I mean, that is just, I'm very, very proud of that.
I think because instead of covering up what she did, she's willing to talk about it, and she's willing to try to help other people with it.
Do you ever struggle when you think about how close you came to an abortion with your son?
A lot of times, you know, I look at him and I feel really bad that, you know, I almost didn't have him, and it's really sad to think about it. And it's, you know, I feel sometimes like I don't want him to feel like, you know, he wasn't wanted or he wasn't loved, and because, you know, he's 100% wanted and 100% loved. And I mean, I'm happy to have him and happy that I had a second chance.
When we return, we'll hear about the plans for the future of abortionpillreversal.com. Using progesterone to reverse the effects of mifepristone is still a relatively new protocol. Many women and doctors are unaware there's hope for reversal after taking the first abortion pill. Dr. Delgado and Debbie are hoping to spread the word to as many people as possible and to continue gaining the support and help of doctors across the globe. If hearts and minds can be changed in those first few hours following the onset of the abortion process, thousands of babies could be saved. Well, to that pregnant girl who's watching this program and considering abortion, what would you tell her?
I would tell her that I've met a lot of women who have lived lives of regret, older women, younger women, everything, because they've had abortions, but I've never met someone who's regretted delivering their child and giving their child life. I would tell her it's not easy, but nothing in life is easy, and that it's just so worth doing because they're the biggest blessing.
I used to think different. You know, I've been educated tremendously in the last few years. You know, I used to think maybe it was none of my business, that it was purely the woman's choice, and it was, I really didn't have any right to get involved. But when you really understand, you know, when is that life, when is that heartbeat, you know, and then it is my business, it is every man's business to get involved, to say don't get that abortion. You know, there's alternatives. What
would you say to parents who have a young daughter facing an abortion decision? Do you think it'd be good for parents to let them know that they'll be with and alongside that girl to support them?
Of course, yes. I mean, you have to realize this stuff's coming, you know, drugs, alcohol, sex, all that stuff's coming. And open lines of communication and letting them know that I'm not going to condemn you. I'm going to love you, we'll get through this, you know, you don't have to do it alone.
Dr. Delgado, what are your hopes for abortionpillreversal.com in the future?
Well, my hope is that any woman who takes mifepristone RU46 and changes her mind and wants to attempt reversal will know about the opportunity, and will know about our website and our hotline, and will get in contact with us as soon as possible. And my hope is also that we will have doctors in every community, so that within 30 minutes of every woman in this country, there'll be a doctor who can help her reverse the effects of RU46.
The more people learn that there is this option, the more will call us. The more healthy births we have, the more credible we'll be. And we're on that path right now. And so I see that even if 10% of the women who take the abortion pill think of us, find us, call us, get started, they're doing 200,000 abortions per year. 10% is 20,000. This is something that everyone should get behind because of its power to save.
This new protocol for abortion pill reversal can give a last-minute pardon to unborn babies condemned to death. Plus, it can spare mom and dad the anguish and heartache of abortion that so often follows. The key now is to get this information out to as many people as possible. So I hope you'll be an effective voice for unborn babies and their mothers. Thanks for watching. For more resources to better inform you about RU46 and the abortion pill reversal, visit our website at facinglife.tv. While there, find out how you can order a copy of this special 2-part episode on DVD and Blu-ray to share with others. You can be a part of saving lives.